episode of The Follow-Up. I'm Eden, it's my dad Noah, and for about the past 3 years, we've just been sitting on my bed and having a conversation about something we want to talk about. And this week, we read an article that we want to talk to you about. It's entitled, What I'm Glad I Told My Kids When They Were Little, according to 11 Dads.
So I get this newsletter, Fatherly, and it just has all sorts of parenting articles and dad things and gifts, ideas, and all sorts of things. And when I find something that is worthwhile, I'll oftentimes tell you, I read this article about, and I think by telling you about these things, I think that it then helps or allows you to know that, mom and dad are studying and working on how to be parents. It doesn't just happen. That they read about things, research things for parenting and get other ideas, not just in their line of work. Because that's our most important work, is you and our family. So I'd read this article. I read it a few weeks ago. When I'm glad I told my kids when they were little, according to 11 Dads. I've read some other lists that say things that I wish I had said to my kids when they were little. So I thought what we'd do is we'd take a look at a few of these and see about, if we do some of these things, but also what they really mean. Okay, so let's start with this one. It would say, always ask why. We're letting you know certain things about like why and curiosity, but why do you think it's important to let a kid know, for us to let you know, hey, ask why?
Because it's really important just like to be able to talk to people, and if there's something you don't understand, like just say, like, why is that so? Mm-hmm. Like, if you want to learn more, why is that so? Or just why is just great for your curiosity, mm-hmm. just like asking why, so you can find out the answer. And
also, I know we've stressed you, like if another kid says something to you that might be rude or mean or inappropriate,
you ask them why back. Not like that.
Yeah, why would you say that? Right. Why would you think that that's an okay thing to say? So by asking the question, you're putting it back on them to now to force them to think, why did I do that? Yeah. How about this one? Every chapter adds to our story. What do you think that means?
I think it's like you have a ton of great moments, and each of those is like a chapter in your life, basically. Like periods of time and all that.
Do they have to be great?
No. They don't have to be great.
Right. So not just moments, but it could be experiences and things you go through.
Yeah. Ups
and high highs and really low lows that shape who you are. Because you're always evolving as a person.
Right.
Yeah. Is your eye okay?
Yeah, kind of.
Would you get lemon in it?
I don't know. Can we produce that?
Yeah, I think you are. But this all shapes who you are, how you handle adversity. So how you handle some of the lows, how you handle some of the tough times, but also how you handle the high moments of, when you're on top. So do you think that you're just going to stay there? No, probably not. You're gonna go through some things. So everything adds to who you are. Yep, I like that. Of course, we tell you girls can do anything boys can do. I don't think we've ever explicitly said that. We just modeled that behavior. And a lot of it comes from modeling behavior at home. Never give up, for sure. It's okay to be It's okay to be different, of course. How about this one? The only person you can control is yourself.
That's a very important one, I feel like. I think that one's showing that someone tells you what to do. You don't need to do that if you're uncomfortable with it or whatever. If you don't feel comfortable with something, then you don't have to do it. You're yourself. Mm-hmm. You don't need to do anything you don't want to do. You can do what you want to do, the other people can do what they want to do, but no one can force you to do anything.
Yep. And if you're in a situation where other kids might be doing bad things, you can try to get them to stop, but maybe you can't. But you can still control yourself.
And you don't have to get into it.
Right. You can still remove yourself from the situation.
Right.
We talk about it with athletes all the time. Like, just control what you can control. You can't control the referees. You can't control what someone else might think of you. You can only control yourself
like
sometimes.
in basketball, referees make a decision. There's no point in going with arguing with them.
Right. You can have a conversation with them afterwards,
Sure.
but there's no reason to be like Luca and just argue all the time. Yeah. Never be afraid to ask questions.
I think that's really important, and that also goes in with the one about why. Like, always ask why, because it's important also that builds conversation skills, but it also talks to you about, if you want to know something, ask. Just ask the question. Like, don't be afraid. Like, questions, there's never a wrong question, I feel like, really ask.
No, and we try
There's
to.
never a bad question.
No, we try to encourage this to do all the time. Like, when we can tell sometimes that you might not understand something or what, and you should never be embarrassed to ask the question. To just ask. If you don't know something, the only way you're going to learn it is by asking the question.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about something in a textbook, but maybe you see something on the news. Maybe it's something in conversation that you just don't understand. You should not be embarrassed to ask, because more than likely your question is going to help out somebody else also, and that other person is just too afraid to ask. So when you ask, then that helps out. More than likely, it's going to help out some other people also. Yeah. So what are some of the things? So those are just some of those questions, but what are some of the things that we say to you consistently?
Like, every morning you tell me, be respectful, be a leader, be confident.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are all really things that I remember throughout the day, just like reminding yourself of those.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always really helpful. And just like those things, just like, kind of like, I don't know what you would call them.
Like mantras.
Yeah, like mantras.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially like those, just like keeping those in mind with you all day.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and recently I've been saying more of, because I know you're going to be respectful and you're going to be responsible. So trying to bring it all together with be active. So not just physically active, but active in conversation, putting yourself out there, be an active listener, an active participant as well.
Yes.
But been telling you to make yourself proud.
Yeah.
So that is, to me, pretty all-encompassing of, okay, well, if I know that it's great to be respectful and responsible and to be a leader, I'm doing things throughout the day that are going to make me proud. Working hard through things, not just rushing through something or accepting something. Like working hard on
putting all your hard work into something that you're really proud of at the end of the day.
Yeah, because nothing is better when every day when you come home, we ask you, what was we never say how was school. Say, what was the best part about your day? And when you say, I was so proud of my writing, or I loved this, that's the best. Yeah, and if you really mean it, because there are some days you're like, well, I guess I liked reading today. But there are other days where you say, I loved this, or I got to write this, and I got to use this strategy, or I was so proud of this presentation. Yeah, so you try to do something that makes yourself feel good every day. That makes yourself proud of yourself. Yeah. Anything else of these types of sayings that you might think about during the day, or maybe things that say if you were a parent right now, like what would you say to yourself, to your child self?
That's a hard question.
I know. I put you on the spot too.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm. So something that, like, some sort of advice that you would give to yourself at this age.
I feel like just like
How about don't say like?
don't say like.
Okay. What else?
I think what you just said, like what you and Mom just tell me every day. That just, I think those mantras just are things I would keep saying to myself.
Okay. Good. That's good. Is there anything that Mom and I say to you that you want that makes you like roll your eyes or like, oh God, like why are they telling me that again? Or oh, I know that, but why are they telling me that again? Which is okay because I don't want to say something that is just not like hitting home with you or or bothers you more. I don't want to say something that makes you cringe.
No.
No?
Not really. Can't really think of anything at the moment.
All right. Because if there is something that like drives you nuts, you gotta tell us.
It doesn't really drive me crazy.
Or even bothers you a little bit, like just say like, hey, this bothers me a little bit. Why do you say this? Or can we say it a different way? Yeah, I don't want you ever thinking like, oh. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Ask questions. Be active.
Ask questions.
Yeah. All right. So maybe in the reviews, if on Apple Podcasts where you can leave reviews, that's the best place to leave it because then
please rate and review the podcast.
Because when you leave a review on Apple Podcasts, it allows others to discover the podcast. That's how the algorithm works. The more ratings, reviews, it boosts the podcast, and then you can subscribe on YouTube. You can watch the episodes. You can follow on Spotify if that's more your speed as well. So thanks.
Yeah.
And thank you.
And thank you.
I love you.
Love you.